Respected teacher and my dear friends, good morning to all. My name is Deep Shah and through this presentation I am going to discuss the entire journey of Vijay Shekhar Sharma, which is from rags to riches. Vijay Shekhar Sharma is the founder and CEO of Paytm's parent company 197 Communications. While discussing his journey, we will also get insights about Paytm's journey and success story. Let's begin. We will start by discussing Paytm in some detail and then we will discuss about his early life, his college days, the inception of 197 Communications and then the success of Paytm. Before creating Paytm, Vijay Sharma ventured his parent company into many domains and then finally created Paytm in 2010. Paytm is not only the fintech pioneer which revolutionized the entire payment system of India, but also a startup unicorn which became a topic of case study at Harvard University. With more than 100 million users already on board, it is one of the most downloaded payment app of India, and it offers services which includes recharge and bill payment, payment gateway services, Paytm Mall, its payments bank, insurance services, and Paytm Wallet. In financial year 2020, its revenue was 3,600 crore and there was a 40% reduction in losses than the previous year. He was born on 8th July 1973 to a poor family in Aligarh. His father was a school teacher and his mother is a housewife. He also has three siblings. He went to an Hindi medium school in his town. He was always a topper of his class. He was an introvert by nature, but was a very disciplined child. Also, because of studying in Hindi medium, he could not understand English well. When his father came to know that he got first in ninth class, he changed his school to DAV Halduaganj. He completed his schooling at the age of 15 because of getting promoted two times. Because of his age of 15, he could not take admission into an engineering college. But because of no such barriers at Aligarh Muslim University, he wrote the entrance test, which was in English, and also qualified it, but could not clear the interview. Due to this, he took a job here and worked hard to take admission into an engineering college. In 1994, he not only cleared the entrance test, which was in English language, but also got admission to the prestigious Delhi College of Engineering. Even after getting the rank of 47 at the entrance test, a topper of his school eventually became a backbencher at his college. The performance dropped so much so that he started getting fail in semester exams. But these things never demotivated him. Pursuing the advice of his friends and colleagues, he started reading his English textbooks by comparing it to the Hindi one. Soon he started getting command over the language. Then he started reading dictionaries, books, and newspapers to further improve his language. One day he went to Sunday market of Daryaganj and picked up second-hand magazines of Forbes and Fortune. When he read about Bill Gates, Silicon Valley, Netscape, Yahoo, Hotmail, and Stanford University, he understood and decided upon three things. First, college degrees are not important. Rather, the work one pursues with it is what matters. Second, internet will be the next big thing. And third, he decided that he will be a businessman in future. But these things never demotivated him. Disappointed with his class performance and motivated from US tech giants, he began going to computer lab of his college and started learning coding and programming. When he was in second year of his college, he started his own software company called IndiaSite.net, which was into the business of creating content management systems for media houses. It was in 1997 and Vijay Sharma was making electronic itineraries for Jet Airways. He also made the website for Indian Tourism Department. By 1998, his company was attempting to make a search engine in India, but the idea could not take off due to a paucity of funds. But the company created a content management tool where media agencies such as Living Media and Express Group used to host their content. He also managed his college website and email services for free. But he was under immense pressure from his family to quit his business and take up a secure job. In 1999, an American company, Lotus Interworks, bought his company for $1 million. With this money, he helped his father pay off his loans and also bought a color TV for his family. His burning desire to be an entrepreneur made him to make a deal with his family, that is, to do jobs until the entire loan is paid and then don't ask questions about what is he doing. He did 6 jobs in 2 years. In just 2 years, he played key roles in a number of organizations including Startup Global, InterSolutions, Riverine Software, etc. All of this was not just for only the commitment given to his parents, but also for creating a capital for his future company. Besides working, he, along with his friend Rajiv Shukla, in Kashmiri Gate area of Delhi, took a small dirty room on rent and built a company named 197 Communications, which is inspired from the telecom helpline number of 197. The company allowed mobile users to receive content such as ringtone, jokes, SMS services, news, astrology facts, songs, and other services which were not imagined until then. Can we imagine that we are talking about a time when there were no smartphones but only feature phones?
One big thing that is expected to shoot in immediately after a few months is video.
Yeah.
We've been actively working on video, and we'll soon launch our video portals, video SMSs, video games, video, everything that will be video on your phone. So instead of making a phone call like this, you will make a phone call like this. That's our operator's job. So instead of listening to music, you would see videos. So you would see video ringbacks, you would see video portals where you will be able to quickly view any video clip. So you can have a flicker-free video on demand on your phone. Second thing is coming towards is when customers are going to have more network based value added services.
Okay.
So network based value added services could be something like spam call block.
All right.
So we are right now doing a beta at an operator where we can block the spam calls, the calls that you get which you do not want to receive.
Sure.
So for example, like you going out of the country and you get all the calls which you do not know how to attend to or not to. So you can set your profile where only the calls that you want your family, your boss, your colleagues will walk in. Every other call will go to voicemail or any other system.
Okay.
When you are in the city, so you can do the same. So there are in-call management applications which are network applications. There are user-side applications which is a video as a push that we are looking at. These two being the critical ones. Second and next generations are fax applications, USSD applications. These are typically some technical sides of the names, but end of the day you would find more and more easier interfaces to do the jobs.
During the beginning of century, telecom sector saw one of its pioneer in India, that is Airtel. 197 partnered with Airtel and created web directory and live astrology software for Airtel. For this, he hired 7 astrologers and managed the web directory himself and started making profit soon. The software model succeeded and began to offer other value-added services for Airtel. But challenges were not yet over. Telcos delayed payments to 197. Dot-com bubbles bursted. 9/11 happened. Cash flows were becoming negative. Loans piled up. Co-founder left. Besides this, there were payments remaining to employees. Rent was outstanding. All of this made him poor again. There was a loss of 11 lakhs in 2002.
I used to take loans for my food, dinner, living.
Food, dinner too.
Yeah, I mean, there was time when I didn't have anybody to take money from, and having 2 cup of tea was work.
Oh, so you have seen those times.
No, I've seen harsher time, don't worry about it. It included that, so I had this small car which was of a friend which I used to drive around. And I think I never knew how much of petrol it can take because I always had 150 rupees maximum or 200 maximum to get a petrol off.
Oh.
That's it. And there were really bad days. I mean, there were bad days when I didn't have money to even take a bus, so I would walk like 14 kilometers.
Oh my god.
He faced all of it while deciding to start working again. He went door to door, fixed computers for people, and got meager money. To end bankruptcy situation, he started a consultancy where he met Piyush Agarwal. Vijay Sharma helped him by developing software for his company. This doubled Piyush Agarwal's profit. Piyush Agarwal was impressed with his work and offered him the post of CEO for his company. But Vijay rejected it. But due to the increasing loan of 8 lakh rupees, decreasing cash flow, and family pressure, he resorted to accept the offer. In return, Piyush Agarwal helped him by purchasing 40% shares of 197 Communications. In 2005, he married to Mridula Sharma. With the boom in telecom sector and with the addition of new customers, 197 flourished. In 2007, the turnover of the company touched 11 crores, and within the next 4 years, the turnover increased 20 times to 220 crores. In the same sequence, 3G hit the world in 2010. It entirely transformed the telecom sector. As Vijay Sharma said, and I quote, "We and our company started trying to connect 3G technology to smartphone and mobile internet and started working on mobile business models and found Paytm in the same year so that online payment can be made easier." He was confident with his idea and decided to scale it as much as possible. He pitched his idea to various investors. Many of them rejected it and argued, India will never accept digital cash. But the company never stopped there and there was no looking back for company after this. Beginning with 2011, Paytm conducted many investment rounds and got huge funds from one of the biggest investors of India, that is Ratan Tata, the biggest investor of China, that is Jack Ma, the biggest investor of Japan, that is Masa, and the biggest investor worldwide, that is Warren Buffett. Currently, Vijay Sharma holds 14.6% stake in his company, but more importantly, he made the world believe in the startup and innovation potential of India. Under the strategic leadership of Vijay Sharma, 197 is backed up by massive international presence, including Africa, Europe, Middle East, and South Asia. When Vijay was preparing for the entrance exam, his dream was to get a secure job as an engineer, but now his dream is to buy the watchmaker giant Rolex. Vijay always wanted the word Paytm to be used as a verb. For this, he ran a successful ad campaign, Paytm Karo, and whenever I accept a payment digitally, I literally say Paytm Kar Do. In 2017, he was named the youngest billionaire of India by Forbes. In 2020, he was India's second youngest billionaire with a net worth of $2.35 billion. Among many other awards and recognitions, he was featured in Time magazine's 100 Most Influential People of 2017 and was termed as Entrepreneur of the Year 2016 by Economic Times. Vijay Shekhar Sharma is a personification of courage, morale, hard work, insight, vision, and quick decision maker. His story shows how a man can change his destiny through sheer hard work and struggles.
मैं तो 2001 I started as a content company, then we were marketing company, then we were recharge company, then we were a PG company, then we are a payment company, then wallet company, then a payment company, then a bank company. तो ये बड़ा industry question मेरे से मत पूछो. I don't follow fintech industry. I follow the journey of a customer and I try to go there. Maybe if you want to put capitalist or a socialist benchmark, I have a choice. Socialist benchmark में करीब 1 बिलियन लोगों को इंक्लूजन में लेके आए होंगे तब तक, और कैपिटलिस्ट का मतलब करीब $100 बिलियन टाइप कुछ कंपनी बना रखी होगी तब तक. So, जो आपकी मर्जी वो चूज कर.
पेटीएम करो.
Thank you everyone.